Welcome, friends, to Dog Grooming Unleashed. We are Leigh and Michelle Caluneo. Our mission is to create a safe, welcoming space for dog groomers and pet lovers to come together to learn, laugh, and feel supported. So join us as we build a community where pet parents and groomers can come together. We also want to help groomers grow in their skills, share their struggles, and feel connected to others in the industry. So get ready to learn and laugh. We're so excited to have you here.
Fired. Yeah.
Fired. Duh. Good answer. Episode 1 of season 2.
Woohoo!
Season 2. We made it to season 2. This is a premiere video for the whole season. And we picked a great topic. One that I think all pet owners and groomers can relate to. You're going to want to listen to this one. We're talking about dog grooming breakup stories. When it's not the dog's fault, it's more about the relationship between you and the client. How does this happen? What determines when it's time to break up? We've got some good stuff locked and loaded, ready to talk right here. What do you think, Michelle?
You got to know when it's time. There's something called healthy breakups, maybe. I don't know. Is that a thing? I think I just made that up. Anywho, you need to know when it's time to just call it quits. And we're here to tell some stories of how we had to call it quits. Help you push out someone that you shouldn't be hanging on to anyways.
Right. And that can be very toxic for your business in many ways. And this is one of the hardest parts of being a dog groomer. If we could just go and do our job and say thanks a lot and I'll see you in 6 weeks. If it was that easy, it'd be great. But it's not. It is one of the hardest parts of the job. We are dealing with people too. And we care a lot about people as well as we really love working with the dogs. So it's a tough one. Michelle, tell us one of your breakup stories and how it impacted you.
I think we could probably go general, and I could just say, like, one of the main reasons I will let people go, and you will probably agree, is because they won't stay on a regular schedule.
That's number 1 on my list.
Yeah, I require. See, we didn't even talk about that. We don't know each other's list. I didn't show her my list.
No, we are learning right with you guys what each other wants to talk about and what's on the list.
So that's a huge, just something we want to share with pet parents. If you have the kind of breed that needs to stay on a regular schedule, right? I want to groom your German Shepherd or your Sheltie, maybe not Sheltie, but some dogs don't, your lab, right? Some dogs don't need to come all the time.
They would benefit from it.
Yes.
But they don't, it's not like they're a continuously growing coat.
So if you want to bring me your lab, you cut their nails, but you want to just bring them in for, a spa day twice a year, I'm okay with that, of course, if they're well behaved and all that stuff. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your long hair, double coated breeds, your poodle breeds, these breeds that really, really need to stay on a regular schedule. And we've stressed to you why it's so important, and you cancel, and you just call us and we've told you you got to pre-book because we fill up, and now you're calling, I don't know if I have anything that day. And it takes a long time for me to be like, that's enough. That is the number one reason that I will, let people go. And it's always after I've worked really, really hard with brushing demos. We've talked about, why it's so important to stay on a regular recall, and I'm calling and confirming your appointments and reminding you. And it just doesn't seem to be, it's just not working for the both of us. What I'm requiring, my standards are that you need to stay on a regular schedule, and you're not going to follow that. So that's not going to fit with the business I'm running and how I work.
That's exactly it in a nutshell. It's your business, and this is what you need. You need a routine schedule with every dog that comes into your salon for many reasons. One is you're continuing to build that bond with the dog. If you're not seeing them but once or twice a year, it doesn't make for a good experience for the dog, guys, because dogs, they're creatures of habit. Don't forget that. It's not a habit if it's twice a year. Right.
Especially if that twice a year is you shaving them down all matted. I mean, and it's not a nice experience. Again, back to like that lab. Yeah, whatever your lab comes in, they're friendly. It's not, and because if it's no problem, I'm fine with that. Like they're like, oh, I see you're doing Christmas photos. I want to make sure I get them before Christmas, and I'll be like, I'll look, and I hadn't seen them since April. I'm okay with that. If it's just a dog that needs a good bath and their nails aren't incredibly long or anything.
And they're a workable dog.
Yes.
Yeah. So refusing to bring the dog on a recommended schedule by the groomer is going to probably get you a breakup with your groomer. And
Yeah.
I fully support it, guys. They're willing to commit to you and your dog on the schedule. So look at it that way.
Yeah.
And there's other dogs that aren't going to make it on the schedule because your dog's holding that spot and it's an important spot.
Yeah.
So respect it. If they don't book upon checkout, if they don't rebook upon checkout, I typically will not accommodate them when they finally get around to feeling like the groom is important again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Another thing on mine, and I think you might have experienced this. Another reason why I would break up with a client, and I have, is and for some reason this happened to a lot of cocker spaniels in our area. I believe we had some really bad breeders in our areas because I saw it in a couple different cocker spaniels that I groomed in my salon. They would have these little episodes of kind of like seizures. I mean, they seem to be seizures,
oh
and
God.
of course, we stop the grooming session. I call the client and I'm sitting with the dog, and we take the stress out. If a
Yeah.
dog has a seizure, don't put them back up on the table and get going. This wipes them out for the rest of the day. So you call the client, they come back, and you say, you never told me that such and such has seizures. And I've had clients say both things. Some say, oh, I didn't think to. Very important to tell me that. And the second thing is the client may say, I didn't know, and that may be true.
Right.
So now we do know. So I'll say, well, everything that happened here truly mimicked a seizure, as well as you can see that the dog is very exhausted right now. So that it tells me that. And I will say to them, you have to take your dog to your vet. That's
Yeah.
where, if you want to come back, if you want me to groom the dog, I won't do it until I see that he's been seen by a vet, that he is clear from being a seizure dog, or that
Yes.
he is having seizures and he's being treated. And if you can't provide that paperwork back to me after I clearly saw your dog had a seizure, I don't want the next one to result in your dog's death. And I certainly don't want
Yeah.
that to be on my grooming table because I have to live with that. And I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yes. If we recommend a vet visit, you have
Yeah.
to take them. And I don't just throw anyone at the vet. Like, I'm not
Mm-mm.
like any little anything, but if I do find any anomalies or maybe possibly an ear infection, I will say I'm not a vet, but it really, really looks like your dog has an ear infection in his right ear, or I'm not a vet, but it looks something, this is a unique thing they got growing on their skin,
Mhm.
on their left
Yeah.
leg. They didn't have it 6 weeks ago. All of a
Yep.
sudden they have this weird thing today. I looked at it real well. I when I blow dried, I could find it. I took a picture, and then they just come back the next time and they have the same thing. Now it's twice as big or
And
whatever.
that's the reason we're telling them. And
Yeah.
you need to tell them, groomers, you say, because this is going to get worse.
Yeah.
And so we need to get it on track with it now. But
Especially seizures. That's
yeah,
not anything to
sure.
mess around with.
And I would never groom the dog again without not just I took my dog for his routine checkup. Did you talk to them about the seizures? I don't know that you did. Unless I can see in the exit summary from your vet visit that you were, looking into, blood work or
Yeah.
whatever the vet needed to do to determine if your dog may be having seizures, then I'm still not accepting. Here's this vet visit, which was, for shots, a rabies shot.
Yes.
That doesn't count. Or
Yes.
I need to see that this vet knows that he possibly is having seizures and the vet has taken the action. Or I won't bring the dog back in.
Because it's
And
a liability. And that ties down to like other reasons we'll let people go. If we don't believe that you're really doing what's best for them, taking them to the vet, giving them the care that they need, and then you're bringing them into us and they're in really rough shape. I mean, it's a liability on our end too. So we have this dog here that's not in really good health. And and you're talking to the people, and it's like, we've had dogs at our shop that you're afraid they're going to die there. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And from the moment they walk in the door, from the moment they leave, they're our responsibility. Everything that happens here is our fault. All groomers know that. It doesn't matter what it's all, we're responsible for everything. So they're in our care just as if they were your children. We're responsible for them. And we take that
that's
very
carrying the
serious.
weight, right?
Yes.
Remember we did the episode in
Yeah.
season 1, groomers carry a lot of weight. That's exactly what Michelle's
Yeah.
talking about.
And we take it very serious. I got one. So I sent Amy this picture of two dogs side by side. And the reason I sent it to her, and I said, this is for our episode tomorrow. I'm not telling you what it's for. So we're going to pop it up in the screen because I want you guys to see this. And the story behind it is this doodle comes to me. He's like a year and a half old, pelted, matted, a mess, like one of the worst I've ever seen. He's so sweet. I shave him down. I talk to the parents. I mean, we really go through it, like brushing, condition, and just I spend so much time with these people. Like, you can't let him get like this. Like, that's their first doodle. I'm very sympathetic. I'm very understanding. 8 months later, they bring him back to me. I just assumed he had been groomed other places.
Yeah, you hadn't
And
heard from him. Mm-mm.
so he walks in the door and I look at him and I'm floored. He's worse than he was the first time. And I said, I just thought you guys went someplace else. And she's like, no. And I said, why does he look like this? I mean, I was furious, right? And I'm trying to like restrain myself. I mean, like, I spent so much time with you guys. We talked about this, right? So we go through the whole thing again, and I'm really like, guys, and even afterwards, they're like, oh, his privates were matted and just, I don't even know how he was going to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so after, the next day, they're calling me and they're like, his stomach's really red. Did something happen here? And I said, well, his skin's very irritated from being so tightly matted. And now he's probably licking that area a ton because he hasn't been able to get to it because the fur was so matted.
Mm-hmm.
And so I recommended they put a cone on, but that's a little uneasy when they're calling you and almost like blaming you for things, even though you've explained and explained and explained. I said, you guys need to come back in a month. Yeah. If you don't come back in a month, so a month after the shave appointment, we do if I shave a matted dog, I want to see them back in a month, and I'll do a bath and a blow dry, and, we'll shave the pads of feet. We'll clean up maybe any kind of crazy places.
Condition would be beneficial.
Absolutely.
There was a lot going on with the skin when it was matted and neglected. Now a good condition would benefit too.
Yes, exactly. This dog was lovely. I adored him. He was so, so sweet. So now we've 3 grooms in. They come back the month later. I feel like I'm really getting to them. Then the next visit, we go 6 weeks, and they send me this picture of what they want him to look like. The white dog is the one they wanted him to look like. And so I quickly say, this is completely different fur types. So I will do my best to give him a haircut that looks like this white dog. I take my time. He's such a good boy. And at this point, I'm grooming maybe 2 years. I knocked this groom out of the park. I'm so proud of myself. Like, even my daughter showed up in the middle of it or at the end, and she goes, wow, Mom, you did a really good job. And I was like, I know, right? He came out so good. He's such a good boy. I finally got through to these people. Like, I'm really excited about this whole process. And so they pick him up. Everything's fine. And then they text me later because they don't like how short the fur was around his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And
just scoop out around the eyes to clean them up a little.
Yeah. And she decided that she doesn't really like this groom. She thinks his head looks big. We're just really not happy with it. And they're trying not to pay me. And I just thought
that doesn't work that way.
And so I said, well, please, you can always let me know if you weren't happy with something, and we can change it and do it next time.
Yeah. Well,
and I left it at that. And then they paid me. And then I waited till the next morning and I said, listen, I think you need to find somebody else. I just don't think this is going to work for me. Fired. Fired. That one stung real bad. I'm not like a master groomer, but I think I did pretty good. Looking
at
those.
Very happy with it. And then you also saw that, wow, this is only the second time I worked with a dog, and we really worked really well together. It's the perfect situation for the dog too.
Yeah.
He already accepted grooming with you, and he trusted you, and now they're just going to groomer shop because they're not committed. That's what the moral of that story is, guys. Yeah. They were never committed to grooming. They only will groom that dog when they absolutely can't stand it anymore.
Exactly.
They're not looking at, is this affecting his health? Going months and months and months with a dirty matted coat. The mats are getting more and more tight. Is that unhealthy for my dog? You betcha it is. It actually causes stress to the dog too because it's uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable for them. Not a good situation. That was a situation where it had nothing to do with the dog. Sadly, I would, and I think that's why I tolerated it as long as I did, because the dog was so well behaved, and I thought I was making progress with these folks. But it's just
you gotta.
And because my thing was too is that when you break up with people, now they have a groomer that's let them go, and maybe they'll take some notes when they go into the next shop and then move on to their next groomer.
You would hope. I haven't found that to be the case. I have a lot of people over the years that have come to me that left a groomer. I always defend the other groomer. My thing
Yeah.
was always, well, you were so
Always.
happy. I won't say the name of business down the road for me, but
Right.
let's
Right.
call it the business down the road for me. I know that groomer and I know the experience level and I know the dedication. Why weren't you happy? I will say that because I
Yeah.
already am anticipating that they're not happy with anybody.
Exactly.
And that leads me to the next thing on my list is people who left for a cheaper price. They got a less quality groom and then they want to come back.
Yeah.
So that's called groomer hopping. We've heard people use that term. It's a real term. The care for their dogs that groomers provide is merely attached to a price. That's it. It's not about the well-being. It's not about the one-on-one service that you're providing their pet. That's very important. You get a one-on-one groomer. That's the best scenario for a dog to be in
Yeah.
with grooming. They don't value that, so they groomer shop, and then I've had it usually always circles back to me, and I don't want to, but I am one of the best groomers in our area for sure.
You
One
should
of the
take a
best.
lot of pride in what you do too.
I go
Yeah.
extra steps with dogs too,
Yeah.
and it shows in the results and it shows in the longevity of the dog's health. Things like, I always condition and I let the condition sit for a little as I'm moving it through the coat, make sure it gets to the skin. I always go back over every single dog with a blending shear. There is never a scissor mark on my dogs.
Yeah.
And yes, it's time consuming. You charge for it, but it differentiated my work from others. So that always brought people back to wanting to come back in. And it sucks because a lot of times I really like that dog a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I can't give in to the owner who's not committed, and I know they're not.
Right.
And so that's another situation when people leave me and it was for a cheaper price and they swing back around in a month or two and try to get back on the schedule and I say, "Well, why?" I make them say it.
Yeah.
"Well, we just thought we would try this." And I would say, "But you were happy with me, right? Yeah,
Right. Right.
we love you. But you were happy with my work. We
Mhm.
love it. And you were happy with the way I treat your dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Amy. So why did you leave?
Yeah.
Why would you leave? Why would you break up with me when we have
Yeah.
bliss?"
Yes.
Right?
I was 100% committed.
I was
How
all
dare
in.
you? Yeah.
Well,
No,
they
it's so
don't make it
true.
back in. They don't.
I I like when they try to groom their own dogs. Those are my favorite. And then they come back and I'm like, and they're like, what you do is hard. And I'm like, thank you. Like I always say those are my favorite when they're like, I try to just do it myself. And I'll
I,
tell you, I have a husky, Bruno the husky. We'll pop up his picture too. I adore this dog. Bruno is one of my first mobile grooming dogs. Okay. And he's tough. Huskies are so incredibly intelligent that
yeah.
the longer I groomed him, the more he realized that I wasn't stronger than him almost, So the last few visits, he really was tossing himself around on the table.
Mm,
And finally, and I thought the second to last visit, I thought, I gotta let him go. Like you know what, I think he would do better at a shop with more people working on him, maybe someone a
yeah.
little bit stronger.
Help
But
if you needed it.
yeah, like, and that's, and I just thought he probably needed that. But then I was just like, oh, I love his mom so much. She loves me. Like, and I groomed their other small dog too. I didn't say anything that one. He photographed so beautifully. I mean, I have so many great photos of him. And so then the next time he came in, he was doing the husky thing and he's got the lead in his mouth and he's literally like up and he gets his paw caught, like tangled. And he's like, and I'm like, Bruno, so I'm like trying to, and I thought for sure he was going to snap his leg. Like he was
Because he was
so,
freaking out.
he's just freaking out. Like, and it's been getting worse and worse as time goes on. And he just knows he's trying to he's never aggressive that he doesn't have, I don't want to say he doesn't, have a mean bone in his body,
Sure.
but he's never tried to bite me or anything. He just doesn't want to do things he doesn't want to do.
He's a
And
hazard to himself when he gets in his headspace like that.
yes. So mom actually brings Bomb, the little one, to me. And then this other groomer that I met at the Houston Dog Show, they just opened a shop around the corner, which has been wonderful because, and I wasn't even really going to bring this up, but I've actually let a lot of bigger dogs go because I got to a point where my salon was too full and it was just me. And I didn't know if I was going to bring someone on or not. So I let some larger dogs go that were a little bit harder for me. And it was really kind of hurt my back and stuff. And it's been great to have this other woman who I like trust and know. And I got a couple other ones in the local area too that
So
I feel like I can.
you have a good
Yes.
reference right away,
Yes. And
which is
so
a win-win. Yeah.
so it works really good that now Bruno goes there. And then she brought Bruno back the other day and we did photos after his. So he just had his groom and then I groomed Bomb Bomb, the little one, and in the other salon's right around the corner for me. So you just have to do what's best for the dog. I really love him. I'm so glad that I was able to keep a good relationship with the mom. And it is hard, and then some of the big dogs I let go were on great schedules. They were great customers. And I still
Yeah.
had I just had too many.
Yeah. But it
And I
takes a
guess,
lot out of you. Even if
yeah,
you have one big dog on a day, you have to say that's one too many. I can do two big dogs a week. And other than that, I feel it too much or
yeah,
whatever. You just have to make a decision so you can continue to groom. If
yes,
you hurt yourself, your grooming days are over, at least
yeah.
temporarily for a while too.
Let the
But
young ones do it. Yeah. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
you know.
Well,
So
I think all of us groomers, I've heard this term so many times in the industry, three strikes and you're out. I don't always let it get to three strikes, three no shows and you're out. Three too many. That can end
three's
up
too many.
$200-300 worth of grooms, depending
Yeah.
on what type of dog we're talking about. I usually listen to the reason of the no show. And there always will be a reason. Here's the thing: if it's the first time I'm going to groom this dog and you don't show up, then we're never, it's over.
Yeah. It's
Don't
over.
call me.
We're
Don't
breaking
call
up.
me.
Yeah.
I don't trust you now.
Yeah.
You don't take it seriously. The three strikes thing would apply if within the same year, the three times it's a no show and they can't make it. You listen to the reason and, it may have been, but you got to read between the lines. If you're hearing a lot of excuses and not just any ownership of it,
Yeah.
of the no show, hey, I own it. I had a complete brain fart. I'm menopausal. Hello. Hello, you're black. All right.
Just made a video about that.
But here's the thing, it shouldn't even happen. Most
Yeah.
groomers are using dog grooming software. I use PetSched. I
Yeah.
actually help people sign up and get discounts for PetSched. I want beginners to use it so they start out the right way. That eliminates your no shows because
Yeah.
often your grooming software will actually charge a deposit when the appointment's booked online. So when
Yeah.
it's booked, it'll take a deposit right away. And that gives a person a reason to then
Yes.
commit to finishing up with
Yes.
following through and bringing the dog. So
I
grooming
just don't allow
software.
it. I mean, to me, I've established really good relationships with my customers. I will text you before the appointment. I almost never get no shows. And when I do, it's really something came up. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah,
I don't
stuff happens.
charge. Some people do. And if you have a really busy salon, like that's different. But for my small client base, and oh my goodness, look at that sweet face. Hi, Gus.
He just woke up from a nap. Apparently, he's all.
Carl was
What's
just
going on?
meowing at the door a
Who's
minute
mom
ago.
talking to? Yeah, Carl.
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 Like, I'm not letting you in here. You're just gonna crawl over me.
He's
But
probably
yeah,
bringing your mic back.
like, guys, I lost my mic. That's why I'm like, is it in my hair? I mean, I got up and walked out. It fell off, and now an animal stole it.
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully, you can hear me okay. I'm sure you
Oh,
can.
it'll be fine.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to talk about is when we say it's not the dog's fault, and this is a good example too. So when I was mobile years ago, and this woman called me and said she had a really aggressive Shih Tzu. She's had a hard time with groomers. He's really tough. And I was like, well, I'm feeling risky today. I'll take like a challenge. Anyways, I went and groomed him, and we did really well. And he's been my customer ever since. I'll never let her go because it's not about the fact that he's aggressive. Like he's not. There's dogs that are reactive and scared. This dog will lunge at my face if I give him the opportunity. And so
Wow.
like there's a difference between, and if it was a big dog, I wouldn't work on him because that'd be too scary, I think, and too
Oh
much of a
yeah.
risk by myself,
Harder to avoid and harder to control if he's a bigger dog.
Absolutely. But because
Yeah.
he's little and I know him well, we've established a really good relationship. He's one, we've talked about not baby talk before. If I get sweet with him on the table, he's like, now I own you. Yeah. If I'm like, good boy, he's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and he'll just be like, Like
Oh,
it's like, he's like, what did you just say? So I have to be like, just like firm and
yeah.
just the whole time. And when he side eyes me, I'm just like, just absolutely not. Like, don't even look at me like that. So like, that's when that cue comes, I'm like direct eye contact. I'm like, do not. And like, I'll
Yeah.
wait for him to turn his eyes away. And we navigate through the groom that way. He will really try to bite me, and he's, a little bit harder to work on. But mom's so good with staying on schedule. She's an absolute sweetheart. She knows she's got a tough dog. She did a good job with him. She gives him all of his medication that the vet prescribed before the
Oh.
appointment. And we have made it work. And so it's not about the dog a
Mhm.
lot. It's really usually about the owners, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. It is the relationship with your clients and helping them to understand the importance of dog grooming and for their pet specifically, what their specific pets grooming needs are. When you educate people, because you're talking now, you're getting personalized consulting with a groomer
Yeah.
about your dog.
Yeah.
They're saying, yeah, well, this is a golden retriever, and golden retrievers have a double coat. They have primary hairs and secondary hairs, and one of the most important things that we can do for this breed, for your breed, is a safe de-shed, which I like. And then you explain, I like to do that in the tub with no sharp or harsh grooming tools that are only going to release the coat that wants to come out, and blah blah
Right.
blah. When you have these conversations with your clients and it puts both of you on a team, team
Yes.
fluffy, and it just makes a very, very workable situation where they would not want to let you down by missing an appointment. They would not try to get the groom cheaper for some reason. I'm a senior citizen. We all know I am too, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't discount doesn't apply here. It's still the
Well, and
same.
that's why, like you just said, it's so important to let them know what we're doing.
You get a clear view from people posting and
Yes.
sharing this on social media, so they do see
Yes.
more what's involved, and I think it's helped bring awareness and bring pet parents and groomers closer together to realize that they're on a team and they work together, and I think that is really happening in our era. Groomers are valued, they really are,
I
and,
think so too.
and I love to see it. I just
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, no, my customers are amazing. They're just like, they're so good and kind to me. And, but once in a while, there is just that time where you really just need to call it quits, and
Yeah.
and it's okay. And you don't need to be heartbroken over it. There's a lot of dogs. I just always hope that they learn, that they learn from the experience, and that my other groomer let me go because I wouldn't stay on a regular schedule. And my dog's
Yeah.
always matted, and now he's got skin problems, and maybe this is my fault. And
Yeah,
I'm
and
going to
it's
go.
possible that the next groomer is not going to tolerate it, just like Michelle didn't tolerate it.
Yeah.
It is teaching them, hey, look, we're professionals. We're not here to fix everything that you let go. We're here to help maintain your dog's healthy existence.
Yes. We're here to help.
Here to help. Yeah,
But
and
not
we
get taken advantage of
acknowledge.
either, and your customer really appreciates you. If they're complaining about the price, that's another thing too. I think I charge very fair.
Yeah,
Even, and people talk about their area and things like that. I mean, I don't really know what people charge in my area. And I think that there's been times that even I know I undercharged, but I always
yeah,
charge what I think is fair. And I still have people that will be so generous and tip me. Most of my people do. Like, everybody's been, like, again, you form these great relationships with people. But if someone's complaining all the time, and like, you're doing I mean, I'm giving you my best. I've given you
hmm
my absolute best that I could possibly do. And if you're saying that it's not good enough, or you're complaining about the price, that's going to
yeah.
cause,
Then
some
I would let
tension.
them go, guys. I would
Hmm.
I would easily let that person go because it undermines you and your
Yeah,
skill, and that can affect your headspace when you're working on their dog, and it doesn't set you up to perform the best work you can when you're already getting kicked down before the grooming session started.
exactly.
It's not a good relationship.
Yeah.
Very negative people. There are many people that are that way. They're going to find the bad in everything before they find the good. And you don't have to do business for those people. You don't.
No,
It's
no.
sad but true. You love
There's
the
lots of
dog.
dogs out there.
Yeah, but you got to make those executive decisions to keep your headspace where it belongs and keep you moving in a happy upward trajectory with your
Exactly.
grooming journey for sure. So
Exactly.
Are we buttoning up this episode? And
I think so. I think we covered some really good stuff. And we hope we helped you guys, and if there's that one you're hanging on to because you feel bad, well, this is your kick in the pants to just
get her done.
Give them the boot. Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Break up.
sometimes it's kind of a hard topic to talk about, because we love animals and we don't want to do that. You have to know your self-worth too. You need to know when it's time to just say, hey, I've had enough. I'm going to move on. There's a lot of other dogs out there and you're going to get rid of that customer and someone else is going to come in and take their place and they're going to love you so much. And it's okay.
And appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Feel free to leave some comments, Unleashed community. You're our Unleashed community.
Yes.
Leave some comments of situations you've been in, how it went, how it made you feel. We love to continue these conversations from the comments into new episodes so that we can bring your voice into the podcast too. Please tell us your stories in the comments and we do read them. We will comment back and possibly talk about it.
Tell us all the things. We want to know all your business.
We're
just telling you all our business. Now you can tell us all yours. So
yeah. Spill the beans right now.
Spill the beans. Tell us. We want to know what's going on. Gosh. Yes.
We love you guys. Thanks for hanging out for another episode. We'll see you in the next episode, which is going to be episode 2 of season 2.
It's going to be so good. Bye.
That wraps up today's episode of Dog Grooming Unleashed. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We are truly grateful to have you as part of our Unleashed community. Don't forget, we drop new episodes every Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So grab your coffee or your clippers and hang out with us again, my friend, next week. If today's conversation made you laugh, taught you something new, or just made you feel seen as a groomer or a pet enthusiast, please take a second to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. And we'd love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts, questions, or even your funniest grooming moments in the comments. We might just feature your story or question in the next episode. And we can't wait to keep learning, laughing, and growing right alongside of you. Stay kind, stay curious, and keep grooming from your heart.